In rugby league, we have something called a three-man tackle, and there's a few different errors that you often see when people are making a three-man tackle. Obviously today we're going to talk about the actual third tackler. So what you're going to imagine is here we've got Joanne, who's our ball carrier. If Theo goes into the tackle, he's going to lock the ball up. Okay, and we've got Francois, who's going to come as the second man. Just control. Okay. What you'll often see is when we're trying to get a third man, the idea of a third man tackle in a rugby league game is to really slow the ball down. So these guys are going to control his upper body. Basically, the third man ideally is going to take away his lower body, so these guys can control him onto his back. Then those two will be the markers, marker 1 and 2. The guy who made the third tackler will be the one who does the retreat to the line. What you'll often see, on peut rester en contact, on peut tourner juste un peu. Okay. What you'll often see is the third man is rushing to go in. I don't think that's a good idea. Find the best place that you can help the tackle, especially if it's under control. Sometimes if there's a leg drive and these guys are really struggling, yeah, you just fucking go in however you can, get them to the ground. But if they're in the wrestle, lutter un peu, juste légèrement, okay, we're in the tackle, I want to find a good place to go in. What I don't want to do, especially, is just come in here in the lower back or the glutes area, okay? So if I come in here, first of all, I'm working against the force that these two tacklers are putting into the tackle, but also just mechanically speaking, the human body, it doesn't bend that way. Okay, so I'm not really helping. I'm going to hurt his kidneys potentially in his lower back, pointlessly, but I'm not helping them get him to the ground, okay? Whereas the human body, as we know, bends like that, it hinges at the hips. So potentially a better way for me to do this would be to come in here, maybe take a leg or both legs, but really I'm putting the shoulder into this hinge here. When I do that, his body's going to fold and it's going to be super easy for these guys to get him on the ground. So we'll just demonstrate that. Okay, fais le plaquage. So a little bit messy on the floor, but I've stayed on my feet. All I did was bend his body. C'est bon, les gars. I've stayed on my feet. I just allowed his body to bend a little bit, and then it was easy for them to do what they needed to do with him. Ideally, obviously, I wouldn't disconnect that quickly, but just for the video. Another mistake, refais le plaquage à toi. Another big mistake you'll see, again, sometimes it depends on the situation, but you'll often see players going way too low down and often ending up on the floor. So they'll come here and do this right around the ankles, and often they'll literally be like this. Okay, that's not good. First of all, I'm not in the game. If I'm not on my feet, I'm not in the game. Okay, I can't help. If he breaks out of that, which is very easy to do, I'm left here on the floor clutching while my two teammates are trying to struggle to get him on his back. Okay, or just struggling to get him down full stop. So I think my preference every time is to stay on your feet for as long as you can, okay? The other thing is, just because we're a third tackler in and there's two guys who've already made the contact, it doesn't mean that the principles of a tackle go out the window, okay? So we still want same foot, same knee, same shoulder coming in here. And like I said before, maybe this is a good place for me to come in, but look, the principles are the same. I still have that foot in close. I'm still going to come in here with my shoulder, still going to be looking past the tackle with my head straight. You know, I'm not diving from a long way away, and I'm not losing my feet. Same principles as a tackle, just a little bit lower, and then those guys can get into the ground.